Racing for the Belgian Grand Prix. We have just caught the end of qualifying, and it is Bayou's on pole position. The man who did a completely beautiful move on the outside of Portier in Monaco, the race that I just finished in PRL, but I didn't finish. I just kind of crashed because my controls killed me. But yeah, we come here to Spa, and he's on pole again. He's ahead of Devons in the BMW. Was that abroad? I can't tell. And ahead of behind Devons is Phoenix, then comes GC, then comes Cameron, unless he can set a better lap now. But we're going to go back to Bayou's now, into the last chicane. Can he improve on that time? No, he pits. What about Devons heading through Blanchimont? We'll catch up with him in a minute. The Renault up to the line here in Spa. Goes P2. Beautiful stuff by Cameron to take pole position. Devon's now the next one to cross the line to finish his lap. He doesn't get ahead of Cameron. He sits 400s behind him. And now 4 tenths separating these two. And now we're just waiting for Dang and Bayous to be pushed back into their garage. What a qualifying session that has been. I'm going to join the party with Max. Oh no, the party audio. One sec. It probably won't hear you, but just in case I can.
Hello, Joe. I'll stay in this.
Hello.
I'll probably end up mute.
Yeah, you'll probably end up mute, but yeah, that was the weirdest thing in PRL. I was like going through, like, normally I was in P2 behind a safety car, and then like as I'm driving, my wheel controls were like ducking, so like it would, like, the car would just stop turning, or like it would just stop everything and just kind of, but it would keep the throttle on, but it would stop everything else, and then it would just, like, then it would come back, then it would go off again, then it would come back and go off again. It was really strange. And then DNF'd me at the swim pool.
I don't know if it was. I think it was one of the Renaults in the wall. I literally was on a lap. I somehow managed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a shame. I was hoping for a good all points in PRL, but didn't come to light. But anyway, we're here for the Belgian Grand Prix, here in Retro Racing.
We're doing a 3-lapper and then so we can kill each other.
Oh yeah, we're doing the killing stuff again. I think I have controller drift. My R stick is drifting to the side.
I'm wearing the
Unless my
only driver in the BMW. Black one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Oh, well, that might put my, like, if I'm driving and streaming at the same time, I might not be able to do that anymore, because there's a glitch where it's kind of drifting to the side. So that's a shame. Anyway, I'm gonna join in on the chaos this time then. I'm in the what car am I in?
Gonna see you smash into everyone.
Here we go.
I forgot this is the race title. So I'm gonna try and avoid all the chaos.
You're gonna avoid it? Oh.
Never mind, I didn't.
Oh shit! I killed someone. Oh, I didn't die.
This rear-ended someone. I went flying.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I've definitely got a glitch because my
my
car's driving. Oh my lord, okay. I'm driving, like, my wheels like turn. I'm having to turn left to go straight. So yeah, it's a definite glitch. I need to fix it.
Right, you're commentating
fix
after
it.
this.
Yeah, so I'll fix it another day. Where's
Le Mans.
Oh, hello, Lewis.
Le Mans tomorrow in the right.
Okay,
I think so,
we've been
yeah.
given a time penalty. It will go against our finishing
I mean,
time
Le Mans in
at the end of the
LMP2
race.
and then Le Mans in
Get down, let's
LMDH.
get it
Oh,
done.
killed him.
If you
I
keep
kill
this
him?
up, we're going
I
to
think
get
I killed him.
disqualified. Be
I
more
got
careful
disqualified.
out there. Okay, black flag,
the chaos
black
of this
flag,
league.
we're out of the race.
Qualifying.
Black flag, we're out of the race.
Qualifying's on at 10. It's gonna be really late. I'm gonna watch.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna watch it when it's on.
I might. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything I can watch it on until the YouTube highlights come out. So.
I watch it on Now TV because I don't have Virgin Box
Fair.
anymore. Just streaming it. team, everything.
Oh, the Renault's a 1-2. No.
Pretty sure one of them killed me in qualifying it. I'm not sure.
Was it Cameron or Duck Noob?
I don't know, I can't remember, but I clipped it. Waiting for the clip to load in, but it's taking. Still uploading, and it's literally just chilling. And then he literally went to let me buy, which I literally went to overtake him when he tried to let me buy. And I braked because, doing formation lap and like lagging like hell. And like I literally
What's
braked.
that? Exact Max doing Ashley Curtis formation lap defending? No way. Oh, the Renaults collide.
Well, everyone lags every time I race here. Everyone lags, and they literally just teleport everywhere. And then like I just see a car go in a straight line and get smashed into the.
Oh, they were like that in what's it called in BRL?
Monaco's the worst because you don't know where anyone's going, and then you end up seeing a pile up like there was in Formula 2.
It's great to commentate on.
I said for Green Army because obviously I'm in Green Army. I did that. I did make a suggestion that we do the F2 cars in Monaco because that's sure it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Make the move.
We should do the like F2 Street League, or like an F2 Street Race League or some sort. I'm not too sure.
I'm just waiting because I'm getting is that Harry Maguire profile picture guy, the big up Maguire, whatever he's called.
Yeah.
Getting him to make a server ad for us. He's busy because he's got exams and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, my career mode on F125 is going amazingly well. I just did the Dutch Grand Prix and it was tipping.
I could tell. You told me that you called Lando Norris a nice guy earlier.
Oh, I called up. No,
Sure,
it was Oscar
let me
Piastri. He moved to Aston
Yeah,
Martin.
oh, yeah.
I literally went to defend from him, right? And he went to the outside and literally left me no room, and he literally smashed into my front wing, and then ripped off, and it just went
Aye.
flying. So then the safety car come out, and I straight lined him.
Oh yeah.
And I somehow managed to get the penalty off, and I got to recover to like a P10, a P3 or whatever, and I just got on the podium. I've been on the podium in like every race, my 95 AI. I've been
Yeah.
on the podium well, Canada I wasn't. I spun out and hit all the champions, and then Charles Leclerc smashed into my car, and then in that race, Leclerc and me, in the race after, me and Leclerc proceeded to finish 1-2. So we got a good haul of points. Now there's only
Well,
11 points between me and Lando in the championship.
fair play, fair play.
Yeah, now I've got to try and win Monza, but I'm not in a good place in Monza. I'm in like 15th in Monza because I do one shot quali. His short quali was doing my head in. It was taking forever. So I did
Yeah.
one shot, and I got 15th in quali because it was raining. So I'm gonna literally cook and get back on the podium. And then I've got Singapore, Brazil, and then Abu Dhabi. I might die. I honestly might die.
Sounds fun.
Thing is, we're so far ahead in the drivers' championship, no one can catch up. So it's literally just me and Lando fighting for the championship. I was just thinking for one of the races I could straight line Lando off the track,
Good job.
and then I can have a better chance of winning. But then again, whenever a driver pits early in F125, they always seem to end up catching up.
So, Oh, good. Why does it say that I'm in a car even though I'm a spectator? Why, I? I'm gonna unplug that one, because maybe it's just that, maybe it just needs to be unplugged for a bit. I would join party, Max, but I'll join party after the race, but not right now. Just because then I can like actually get into the zone, get like absorbed in that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hello everyone, Twitch chat by the way as well. Thank you everyone for joining. Should be able to be an affiliate soon. I just need to like actually work out how to set it up. Is the video buffering? I don't know. Quite frankly, Twitch, I don't know. Oh, I found SPR. I found an SPR stream. I'm watching, I just clicked onto the SPR stream. And I know a couple of people in it. I know Lewis W. Clark, who's also known as Scythe. I remember Samaru. Oh, Mincastral's in this, in P8, nice. Currently battling with... No, he's not. But, yeah, Tameser as well. Anyway, oh, good to check in on them. I'll have a look at some other leagues as well, just for fun. Not Kalia, no. JCR. Who's that? Hungary Tier 1. So I'm having a look at JCR's racing league. Whoa, that Haas getting mental on the curb. Sabas Hub, the Chrome McLaren, and the Williams makes it through nice and dandy. Haas there capitalises on the Williams making a mistake. They head through down the straight into turn 1 again. Outside, he's made the move. Outside for the Aston Martin as well. God, the McLaren's getting swallowed up by the Aston and the Haas. Come on, Grizzly Bear. Do the Oliver Bearman. I love how Blazer the Alpine's just holding this massive train up. He's holding it. If you don't know, so JCR, Hungary Tier 1, Race 5. Current. I'm not a part of this league, I'm just tabbing onto random leagues I've found. But yeah, there's the Alpine and Blazer P4. Oh, he's been passed by the Sauber. Yeah, no, the Alpine. Wow. I was going, oh, the Ferrari's off. Holy moly. Who was that off of? Not too sure. I think it was the McLaren. The McLaren's lost positions. I think the Ferrari and McLaren collided. Yeah. Ole mole. What does this mean? What does this mean? In order to take advantage of the extension at Streamlabs, is that just promoting an extension? I think it is. Whoa, the McLaren, go on, lad. What a move! Whoa, contact the Haas and the Alpine. Blaze has gone from 4th to 9th. What's happened to him? Whoa, lordy lord. Good old Williams as well. God, what a stream. Anyway, back to my stuff. Oh yeah, we're going in. Lordy lord, I didn't even see. Right. Anyway, retro racing. Time to go. And we have Kerium, otherwise known as Sinanen Venuk, in his debut race here. What are my predictions for... I think that means podium. Predictions for the podium. Bayous, Devons, and Phoenix. I don't know what order though. No, Phoenix isn't here. I'm going to go bold. I'm going to say Cameron in the Renault. So the Renault, the Brawn, and the Red Bull. I reckon Bayes is going to take another win. I reckon Devon's second and Cameron's going to snag that, especially in this weather. Very adverse weather for today. Phoenix is racing. Nah, I'm going to stick with Cameron, I think. I think Cameron might get a podium. I don't want to jinx him. He's probably going to end up in the Water Rouge next, but, you know. As the one Ags in the Renault as well, so he's agreeing with me. Here we go then. 1, 2, lights on. It's the formation lap. Cameron in P2 after a great qualifying. Ahead of Phoenix, then comes GC, then comes God Chaos, who's ahead of Dang in the Red Bull today. He was in Red Bull in Monaco. He had to avoid a great battle. Meanwhile, Lewis is... Who's that? Grasscone. I think that was DXR. Then comes Max in the black BMW today. Then comes Duck Noob. Then comes Synonym Venom. Then comes Hexy. Then comes Devons in Stone Dead last. But they're all in the rain. They haven't had a run in the rain yet, from what I can see. So that's going to be very interesting to see them all battle in the rain. I've got a track model of Imola stuck to my foot. Meanwhile, what's happened here? I need to reload my stream. Oh, lordy lord. There we go. Right. Anyway, lock up there for. Well, then meanwhile, Bayou's really on a rampage at this, on the start there, really aggressive on the turning. And first you have to finish Michael Schumacher on the halo of Dang, on the halo of Lewis, on the halo of Venom. And that's it for now, but here we have God Chaos in the Brawn after a very eventful race for Brawn in Monaco, as this lap is now, from now to the line, we're going to have a 30-second silence for the lost souls in Monaco. There we go, now it's silent. That'll do. Anyway, we head to the grid. No heroics into Sandoval. So, what will happen today? Will Bayous hold the lead ahead of Cameron? Will Phoenix be able to hold his championship lead in that Ferrari? Will is that Jordan be able to fend off the Brawn God Chaos? Will Brawn be able to keep their cars from rolling over today? Will Dang be able to improve on his midfield position at the moment? Will Lewis and Kai battle today? Will Max be able to capitalise and score great today? Or will he DNF like he did in Monaco? So many questions to sit on this grid as well. Can Devons go from 13th to the podium? We'll find out. Here we go. 5 lights coming on in front of the drivers today. And retro racing is underway. And it's a pretty decent start by the cars on the inside. Bayous gets ahead of Cameron at the start. Big move by the Brawn at the start. Big move by Cameron, who takes the lead on the inside of turn 1. Forces the Red Bull to the outside. Cameron leads as a car around. I think it's one of the red Mercedes cars. But we head into the Rouge section. The Brawn now have gone Chaos right on the back as they head up a Rouge. Gone Chaos. Cameron goes off. Gone Chaos. Now look, they're free wide, heading over the Kemmel straight. God Chaos and Dang ahead of Cameron. Bayous takes the lead back. What an eventful few corners. Big move there by one of the Ferraris in the background. The 2 Red Bulls trying to hamper the Brawn of God Chaos. Cameron's dropped to 4th. Now it looks to drop to 5th. There's what a move by Phoenix on the outside of turn 7. Heading out of Malmedy into the next hairpin. What a battle. This is turning out to be 3 cars nearly into the side of each other. Heading out of that corner. The camera's being a bit silly today, but we head out of No Name. And they're all sliding out of No Name corner into Puon. There goes 1, there goes 2. It's Red Bull 1-2 ahead of the Brawn of God Chaos. Then comes Phoenix, Cameron, and the other Brawn of GC. Round the outside, at 3-1 again. Cameron's all the way off the track. You can see him just peering out of the leaderboard. Heading down into the next few corners. Very close stuff between these lads. Cameron, though, looking to make up places again, and he spins. The man who qualified on the front row is now round at Stavolo, and now behind his teammate Doc Noob, who now gets ahead of him. And there's a car off again. That's one of the Mercedes. As Devons, in all that chaos, has got up to P6, and he's with the Brawn and the Jordan. The Jordan nearly crashes a Blanchimon. The Brawn nearly goes off with the BMW of, that's Devons up into P4 then. P4 for Devons. Max here looking to capitalise in his black BMW. Heading onto the straight. The Red Bulls 1 and 2 after that absolutely frantic first lap. Then comes the Ferrari. Then comes the BMW of Devons. Then comes the Brawn. Then the Jordan. Then comes the other BMW, the black one of Max. Then comes the Ferrari of Kai. Then comes Duck Noob. Then comes the man who started on the front row in the Renault, Cameron, who's now battling with his teammate. Then comes Miss Lewis in the McLaren. Then comes Sin and Venom in the Lotus. Then comes Hexy in the red Mercedes car. They head onto the Camel Straight, and you can see them all ploughing onto it. Gonna remove the interval board. As now to the inside. Is that gonna be the move made? I think someone just went off the track. It was Dang. Dang off the track. That'll leave him vulnerable to the Ferrari, but they all back out, play it safe. Meanwhile, the other car's coming through as well. Meanwhile, as they're battling at the back, there it is. The Renault's going at it. Off wide for Doug Noob. Cameron ushers his teammate off wide. That will leave. Oh, and into the side for Lewis. That is nearly round for Doug Noob and Lewis. And now the Lotus of Venom's going to try and get involved in this scrap. Meanwhile, look at the front 3 going at it. Devons going from 13th, looking to go up into the podium. He's knocking on the door of it. Bayous leads. Meanwhile, this absolute war zone happening further back, heading through the Fania chicane. What on earth is happening here? Now, there's 4 cars as well near each other. Down the inside for Phoenix. He's going to make the move stick. No, he isn't. Meanwhile, there's battling further back. I think that might have been these cars. There's a wide there for one of the Brawns. Nearly round for Kai DXR. Heading through the Blanchimon corner. The man who did very well in Silverstone. I think he won in Silverstone in Retro Le Mans Series. Now he's up ahead. As we head into the bus stop chicane, and to the inside, or to the outside of God Chaos goes Kai. But is it going to be the move made by the Ferrari? No, it's not. But there's a move being made further ahead. Devons got up into P3. Now he's looking for P2. Devons on a rampage here in Spa. He's gone from 13th to 3rd in just over 2 laps. Absolutely mental. Meanwhile, we look from the rear of the Red Bull car through a Rouge and Radion. Up they go. And will Devons go up a position? We'll find out. To the inside of the Camel Straight. Here comes Devons into the Lecombe chicane. Dang gets defeated by Devons. Or does he? As a dive bomb by Dang. But Dang doesn't make the move. And now Dang is going to be thinking, oh Dang, because he's just lost the place to Phoenix. Meanwhile, Max in the BMW gets a 3-second penalty for multiple track limit violations. So does Miss Lewis. And Max here looking for a move on GC, trying to pull out all the stops to get past him. He's off wide on the exit, and he's off at No Name. The No Name corner finds no grip for Exam Max. Meanwhile, he's going to get swallowed up by this pack. They're 4 cars within inches of each other. They're nearly colliding. 4 cars into Boo-on. How are they going to make this stick? 2 of them go wide, the other 2 on the inside. And they all go very wide on the exit of Pooh. What an absolute battle this is. Max going for the move, looking for it, and he hits into the side of the Brawn. God Chaos ahead. The 96 car ahead of the 15. Then comes Cameron in the Renault, the man who started on the front row, now battling in the midfield. Meanwhile, we're looking up front just to make sure there's no battling. There isn't, unless there's a move at Blanchimon here. Meanwhile, well wide for Max. Max has gone squarely on the exit of Stavelo. The Paul Fura corner. Causing fury for Max. I think it's called something else, but meanwhile, Dang and GC going side by side, not making a mistake. Meanwhile, side by side out of Blanchimon for Chaos and Cameron. Around the outside, is the move made? He barges him out the way nearly. Now Cameron does the barging. The cameras are awful, but their racing is amazing. As Exam Max 2009 pits, the Green Army F2 champion pitting after probably getting damaged from that skirmish. With the battling pack, Venom trying to make a move on his debut, trying to get into the top 10 ahead of the Renault. As into a Rouge and Radion, nearly off there for Lewis. Oh no, that wasn't Lewis, that was Kai. Apologies. Heading down the straight into a Rouge and Radion. I'm gonna have a look further back though because as there's a move here. God Chaos in the Brawl gets ahead of the Renault of Cameron. Meanwhile, with the other Renault, side by side, Sin and Venom looking for a move, and there's a yellow flag. What's happened here? I think that, oh my lord, there's 3 cars, they're all going to collide. And the Ferrari, the Renault, and the Brawl going out of shape here. The track has dried up a lot here, so I reckon they'll be pitting very shortly. Absolute chaos. Meanwhile, Venom didn't get the move done on the Renault. And Dang here trying to make a move, or trying to keep the position by doing all sorts of stuff to stay ahead of Cameron. There's a really wide moment there as Cameron nearly forced out wide. He is forced out wide, but he's going to go for the move anyway. On the inside of Fania, he gets hit on the side pod by Dang, but Dang hit the wrong part of him there. Very Schumacher feel. Now Vasquez off wide for Dang, not going to make the move stick. But now Kai's going to come out of the Stavelo corner. On the outside, is he going to make that move stick? Yes, he is. Beautiful stuff. Kai, another move made. That is beautiful here in Retro Racing. Heading up into Blanchimon corner. Is Miss Lewis going to try the Verstappen move on the outside of Blanchimon? Yes, he is. He's wide, though. He nearly loses the position to God Chaos, but he keeps it. Up in front, what a move by Miss Lewis. Meanwhile, into the pits comes a few more people to get off of those intermediate tyres. Well, I say a couple more people. All I mean is Devons on its own. As I think going wide there was one of the Red Bull cars who goes down the inside. That's a very late lunge. I'll be surprised if he can get that stopped before he gets into Zandvoort. But heading down into Rouge and Radion again for this back half of the pack. Devons just coming up behind Sinan Venom. And the red Mercedes pitting just behind Examax, who went onto the hard tyres earlier on. He's going to jump Hex in the Mercedes. Meanwhile, we have the Renault losing the place to Sin and Venom, who goes up into 9th. But now Dang now getting ahead of Cameron. Phoenix and GC looking like they're going to get very close together as well. Meanwhile, they're taking a long time. Whoa, what's happening here? I couldn't even see them out the corner. They were so far on the inside. Cameron and Dang. And, no, Dang and DXR, should I say. Trying to keep ahead of Lewis and God Chaos. Meanwhile, Sin and Venom trying to keep ahead of Devons. He's playing the Hunter and the Hunted at the moment. He's trying to get past the Renault. Meanwhile, the other Ferrari's going for the move. Here we go. DXR looking on the inside of the Red Bull. The 2 lower placed cars to the leading 2. Going for it. As now Sin and Venom, they both lost the place to Devons in that skirmish, and Venom's still not able to make the move on DXR. Out of Stavelo corner then. as into Blanchimont corner for GC. He looks like he's going to have a run on Fenix. Fenix goes wide, but not enough of a run to make a move with it. 4 cars very close together though, heading into Blanchimont corner. I'll turn the interval back on now. But heading into the next corner for these few, as into the pits goes, and lots of people pitting. So GC, Fenix, Bayous, Cameron lead again, taking the fastest lap with him. That'll be important because the inters are still quick then. But out of the pits comes Bayous in P3. Oh no, P2. Oh, he's going to be very tight with DXR, but DRS enabled. DXR ahead of Bayous. Fenix comes out side by side with Devons, and Devons gets ahead of him. There's side by side here between Doc Noob and GC, but GC stays ahead, goes behind, should I say. There's side by side DXR gets passed by Bayous heading down the Kemmel Straight, and down here as well. There's side by side between the Renault of Doc Noob and the guy who just pitted, GC, who's going to edge out ahead. And into the side, they go both round. Venom's gonna go through. Venom through on GC and Doc Noob up into P6 on debut. Great stuff. Meanwhile, heading through, very close stuff between these three. Absolute mad stuff. So these three are going at it. GC looking to pick his way past these 2 cars who are on intermediates. Obviously, GC on the mediums. Look, he's on the option tyres. The dry tyres. Heading round now. Is there going to be anything done on the Jordan? I don't think there is, but going for the move. Let's heading through here then. I think as well as battling at the back with Lewis in the McLaren versus the Red Bull of Dang as well, who's not benefited nicely after that pit stop phase. But heading through, out as the Renault losing the place. GC gets ahead of the Renault. Now the Renault's going to be trying to follow in suit. No, he's not. He's struggling. Has he got a puncture? No, he hasn't, but he's struggling as if he has a puncture. He's really struggling. Look like he nearly goes round. Cameron pits. Bayous takes the lead. DXR pits as well, so Devons goes up into second. Bayous versus Devons. It's Imola all over again. As now Fenix takes P3. Cameron coming out of the pits. He's going to lose places here to GC. He's also going to lose places. No, he's not. Sin and Venom pit. Dang's going to go up a couple places. He was in 9th. Now he's going to go up to potentially 5th. No, he's up into 6th as Cameron came out just in a battle with GC. As Max jumps ahead of the debutant of Venom. And heading through. Is there going to be a move made? The McLaren gets a great run. Straight line speed for the ages for Lewis, who gets put on the grass. That doesn't phase him. Great stuff. And also GC gets passed by Cameron. So the Cameron and the Renault ahead of GC Giovanni. As off wide goes the McLaren of Miss Lewis. And he now gets passed by Dang. And Lewis now into the hairpin. Trying to fight with Dang, losing the car on the exit there, but heading through as Geld Chaos behind DXR. We have Dang ahead of Lewis, who was one of the many drivers involved in that huge crash in Monaco at on lap 6 at Mirabeau, which has gone very, which has blown up slightly over social media. As lots of people have seen it and been amazed at what on earth had happened in it. But heading through Blanchimont, the place where lots of crazy moves have happened in league racing and in real life racing as well. Bayous sets the fastest lap. Fenix though getting caught by Devons. Keep an eye on that battle. As you'll see, Fenix's number gets smaller and smaller if he's catching, but if it gets bigger that means he's not catching. As heading into turn 1 then, we have the field are quite spaced out now, but we have 44 laps of this race still, but obviously we have 8 laps down, so that's actually what, 30 something laps left around this 2-minute long track, this 7-kilometer track in the Ardennes forests of Spa in Belgium. And who will be the Franker champ of this land here in retro racing? To the inside goes Lewis. He gets put to the extreme inside. They both go in hot. But dang, wow, that was very late on the brakes, very on the limit there, on the edge racing. As now Lewis goes onto the gravel, kicks up dirt for these two to be able to drive past. Meanwhile, Hexy in the red Mercedes pits again. So it looks like he may put onto the wrong tyre. What tyre that is, I'm not too sure. I would look, but this battle's too entertaining to cut away from. To the inside, no, he's not going to make the move there, Lewis. Poo on. Meanwhile, we have these two as well battling nearly. So keep an eye on these two, as meanwhile they're side by side between Lewis and... No, there isn't. Dang and Lewis not side by side yet, but they're getting close enough to. To the outside, no, he's not going to make the move there. Dang, under pressure from Mr. Lewis in the McLaren behind. So they go up Blanchimont into... Oh, they go up into Blanchimont. Whoa, that was nearly a huge airplane crash. To the outside though, Lewis, he's going to do it again. The Max Verstappen move on the Max Verstappen car. Beautiful stuff, side by side. The Red Bull versus the McLaren to the inside. Late on the brakes. He's going to miss the whole day of school if he's much later. Holy moly. As the Red Bull gives you wings, the Red Bull makes you forget your brakes exist. Heading into the bus stop chicane, especially if you're called Dang in the F1 game. Because holy moly, and he's gone again. What on earth is happening to this guy's brakes? Because they seem to be non-existent. He seems to have brake bias on 170, more like, not 70. But heading into next order side-by-side, Cameron getting passed by GC on the Camel straight. Or is he? Because GC goes wide, Cameron goes to the inside of Melbourne corner and gets ahead into the next hairpin. As these two getting very close together as they head through. I think someone's just made a mistake, and I think it was Kai. No, it wasn't. It was Lewis being caught by Kai, otherwise known as DXR, in the silver Ferrari. Side by side between these two, it's a Poo-on corner. The Renault and the Jordan showing off their man sacks into the Fania chicane. Round the outside, these two are throwing the kitchen sink at trying to get these moves done. The 98 Jordan though ushers the Renault off the track and gets ahead, but he goes late on the brakes to do so, so that will set him up badly for the next corner. Cameron here in the Renault, in the blue and yellow car versus the yellow and white car. Who's going to come out ahead, the Jordan or the Renault? The Renault behind for the moment, but we're on lap 10. We have 34 laps to go in this race. To the inside of the bus stop chicane. That's the wrong car, but that's the right car for Cameron to be passing, as that earns him 4th place for the moment in this race. There's a car off, that's Hexy off in the... Oh, is that just a yellow flag for no reason? As... What about that's been? So we head into turn 1. Head into turn 2, should I say, otherwise known as Eau Rouge corner, going over the Eau Rouge river. On the top of it, and they head now down into the Lacombe chicane. Is he close enough for a move? He's gaining, but he's not gained enough unless he goes super dang late on the brakes. Yes, that was a pun. But heading through into the hairpin, very long looping hairpin for the man who's keeping calm with no heroics into Sainte Devote. Obviously Sainte Devote doesn't exist in this track, but the message of no heroics does stand. Can I check tyres? I can. I definitely can. I haven't looked at chat for a long time. My bad. Details. As Devon, quick mention to him, going up 11 places in the race, but there are the tyres then. So Phoenix on the prime tyres, along with DXR, who's battling with Lewis on the worn-out mediums, Dang on the mediums, Max on the hards, Noob on the softs, the debutant on the mediums. Lots of people on the mediums, so I'd call that the option tyre because it's the most populated. It's the softer tyre. Obviously it's not the soft tyre, but the soft tyre is kind of a qualifying tyre, so the soft tyre is just the soft tyre, but yeah. more people use the mediums, so I just call the mediums the options and the hards the primes because the 2012 logic. But we head through them, and there's a yellow flag again. Hexy goes off into the wall this time. He's parked up by the marshal post. He reverses out and he's close to being lapped by, is it Bayous or Devons? I'm not too sure. Into Lacombe chicane. Devons goes from 13th in 11 laps. He's taken the lead. What a move. As there's a retirement. Dang is out of the race and it's a safety car. Dang retires. Not too sure. He's crashed on the pit straight. What has Dang done? Holy moly. Dang has ended his Dang race at the Dang pit straight. Oh, dang. But that will also secure Cameron 4th for the moment. I'll also secure Devons the lead. So Bayous, if he defended a bit harder there, that could have helped him out. But it depends who pits and who stays out now. That helps Hexy not get lapped now. My bad. It's just a bit tired today. But yeah. So I think the medium runs are going to have to pit. I think even the hard runs are going to just have to pit onto mediums at this rate as well. But we head into the P1 corner with these guys. Yeah, it's been a long race so far. But we have our first safety car of this Belgian Grand Prix. Dan disconnects from the session. He gets out of the car, gets out of the racetrack. Safety car waiting for Hexy, going very slowly into Delta. It's Bayous behind Devons here in the safety car. There's Devons pits. Devons in the pits. Interesting. So the BMW pits. What does Phoenix do? He stays out. I could see he was pondering whether he pit or not for a while there. What about Cameron? Cameron does pit. So Phoenix goes out of Devons. Cameron pits. GC stays out. So GC goes up into 3rd. Or does he? No, he doesn't. He stays in 4th because Cameron's already out. Devon's already out the pits. Cameron, he's going to be definitely behind Lewis. Kai DXR pits. But yeah, so Cameron is going to get overtaken by God Chaos. He's also going to get overtaken by, oh no, Exact Max. That's what I meant to say. He's not McDonald's, is he? Anyway. Exact Max Donald's into the pits. That'll explain Chicken Nugget Corner, wouldn't it, Max? Anyway. He goes on to some new mediums. Sin and Venom as well coming into the pits. He goes on to the hard tyres, prime tyres. Hexy, we're going to wait a while for him to do a pit stop. Whoa. Noob stays out on those warm soft tyres. Interesting. So, we have a look with the field here. We have Devons, we have GC, we have Mist, we have God Chaos, we have Cameron, then we have DXR, then we have Duck Noob, then we have Exact Max, then we have the debutant of Sin and M, Venom, then we have Hexy, then we have the Dang Red Bull car that's out of the Dang race. Hello to you, Ninal. I think I'm saying that right. Hello, Devon. What a race. Yeah, what a race it's been for you so far. You've gone up 10 places since your starting grid. You were in the lead before you pit. So yeah, you've got the pace to match the ace of spades in blackjack or whatever the game's called. Anyway. So, Devons, let's see if he can keep the... Let's see if this might be redemption for Imola. This win, if he does get the win, that will be redemption for Imola. If for those who don't know, hello Rappy as well. But yeah, for those who don't know, Devons was leading the race in Imola back when he was driving in Brawn, but he didn't win in Imola as he DNF'd under strange circumstances, which saw him out just before the first corner. Or just before the Tamburello chicane, but he's here in Spa today and he's putting on a show. And if he doesn't get a driver of the day, then that will be a crime. Cameron, what's happened to him? Cameron, what on earth's happened here? Cameron and God Chaos, have they collided behind the safety car? What has happened there? There's a penalty. I think Doc Noob is letting people through. What on earth has just happened here? As Max now ahead of Duck Noob. Max now lets Duck Noob back past. What on earth has happened? In RGR, the two McLarens were causing chaos in the safety car periods. Now the Renaults are causing chaos in the safety car periods, and Duck Noob hits into the side of his teammate. What on earth is happening down at the French squad? Because the Renaults are under absolute huge rival territory at the moment. But Hexy disqualified for going the wrong way. How has he done that? Well, you can't park there, sir. So that means Dang does get 12th place. But that is dang mysterious. That DNF. Also, these Renaults are being dang annoying to each other. Heading down them. So we see the brawn here of God Chaos currently ahead of Cameron. God Chaos, no, it's GC and Cameron, wasn't it, who are battling like mental. Yeah, it's been a mental race so far. We see them all go through the Fanish chicane. Great race by the debutant as well. He's really plowed through here. As, oh no, I just said about him, and the commentator's curse happens again as Venom hits into the back of Max, giving himself a penalty. But we go back to the lead as the safety car comes in this lap. Bayous with Phoenix in P2. Phoenix loves the position too. He's been in there the entire season. Bar Monaco. We head through then. Is there going to be any move made by Phoenix or Devons? We're going to keep an eye on this one. Don't move anywhere. Keep an eye on this. Here we go. Heading through the final chicane. There's contact already. Phoenix raring to get underway. He's side by side and Bayous lets him through. Nearly gives him a penalty. So Bayous and Phoenix side by side into turn 1. GC battling with Lewis. 4 wide into turn 1, and that was never going to work. That 3 wide still on the exit. Holy moly. Then side by side now heading into Eau Rouge. Devons, is he going to make the move? That Kimi Antonelli made an F2. No, he's not. But that is huge. Absolute charisma to go for the move. Confidence, shall I say, not charisma. Side by side for P2. GC takes P2. Look at the swarm of bees on the straight here. This is like World Endurance Championship. It's heading through. Whoa, near the contact there. As now Lewis side by side with Devons, who's making the move on the outside in the silver and white BMW car. Side by side with the Brawn on the outside of the Renault of Cameron. Is he going to make the move stick? No, he isn't. The Brawn's now going to get swallowed up by the white Ferrari. And the Ferrari now go for the move, nearly into the side of the Brawn. But now they head through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, heading through Puon. Flicking through. And now Lewis under pressure from Devons. He was P3 when the race restarted, got caught up into midfield chaos, and now he's fought his way past Lewis, and now Lewis and Cameron are going at it. There's contact. Sid and Venom, and is that Duck? Yeah, it is. The Renault and the Lotus both going off. Meanwhile, Lewis side by side. There's chaos in the midfield. The cameras can't even tell what's going on. I can't tell what's going on. Side by side between Max and DXR. The black BMW who won in the Brands Hatch LMP2 class in Retro Le Mans series, which did feature DXR. He's now overtook DXR here in Retro Racing F1 to the inside, and Lewis doesn't get the move done on God Chaos. But Chaos there on the exit, looking to maybe get the move done. Cameron as well under pressure from Lewis. But Max and Lewis now to the inside for Max. Not going to make the move stick. That's going to now invite DXR to the party. Side by side to Eau Rouge they go. They're barely side by side, so I reckon Max should be able to cut in. Yes, he does. And now heading through Eau Rouge and Radion with Max and DXR. And there's GC going down some places. Bayous loses the lead. Phoenix gets out of second place, takes the lead ahead of Bayous. And hopefully he doesn't get overtaken at Portier or at some ridiculous corner like he did in Monaco. As Max goes ahead of God Chaos. Cameron gets a penalty for track limits. And there's side by side there with God Chaos. Was that? Yeah, it was. God Chaos and DXR battling. Chaos locks up. Damaged front wing for the Brawn, who spins. And it's another dramatic moment for Brawn. He's gone round in a different way to what he did in Monaco. But heading through, nearly contact there with Max and Lewis. Lewis going for the move and Max having none of it. As Max going for it now, as Lewis now having none of it under defense. As now Max goes wide, that'll open the door again for DXR to maybe have another move on the exit. Stavolo potentially. He's got the run, but he does back out of it. Meanwhile, heading up the hill, no battles to speak of here. Meanwhile, down here in the midfield lot, the battle for P6 rages on. As Max playing the hunter and the hunted, he's got that car to try and pass ahead of him. He's got this car behind him to try and defend from as well. So they've all got to watch out here. I'm surprised that Doc News has been able to go that long on softs, but heading through the bus stop chicane, they head down the straight and so on. Phoenix leads ahead of Bose, then comes Devons, then comes GC, then comes the Renault of Cameron, then comes Miss Lewis, then comes this battle with Max and DXR. DXR nearly locks up. And Max defends in front now, but DXR looking to get the move done in the white and yellow and red Ferrari. Sinan Venom gets ahead of the pit-stricken God Chaos. As we head back to the P6 battle, GC gets ahead of Cameron. Bayous takes the lead back. Cameron and GC looking to swap places, but which way are they going to end up by the time they stop scrapping? Cameron gets ahead of GC after minor contact. Max behind Lewis, trying to get the move done, but he's not able to. But he's not under threat from DXR anymore, not for the time being. But if he does make a mistake, he hits into the side of the McLaren. Lewis gets passed by Max, the BMW on the outside of the McLaren. Now the McLaren's under threat from the Ferrari. 3 manufacturers from 3 different countries going at it. We have Germany ahead of the UK, then comes Italy, trying to make the move on him, but not going to make the move stick. Meanwhile, Devon trying to get ahead of Fenny. Fenny heading out Stavolo, not able to make the move done. Purple sector 2 for Cameron. As Lewis there with front wing damage, he's going to struggle now as Phoenix should have the run. Meanwhile, Devon's going to go around on the inside of 130. No, he's not going to make the move stick. They're going to go 3 cars abreast maybe into the next corner. Bayou's in the wall. The Red Bull gets carted off to the side, and Devons and Phoenix go through. The Red Bull behind goes into the wall. Absolute carnage. Meanwhile, Max does stay ahead of the McLaren, who does stay ahead of the Ferrari, but they all go up into the battle of 5th instead of the battle of 6th due to Bayou's getting hit off. Absolute chaos. And now wide for Max. That's going to be 3 wide into a Rouge. No, it's not. As Lewis now to the inside of Max. Who's going to be ahead? I think Max will. Yes, he will. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead rages on. Phoenix gets passed by Devons. Devons goes from last to first here on lap 17 again. As into the next corner then with this battle. Max very late on the defence there. Carters Lewis to the outside. And now that'll mean DXR goes through. I think Lewis was a bit spooked by that. But Max late on the defence on the inside of Lacombe into the hairpin after Malmedy, into the no-name corner. They head through DXR trying to rein in the BMW. We have an Italian manufacturer trying to rein in a BMW manufacturer. Meanwhile, the BMW manufacturer is currently leading the race ahead of the Ferrari of Phoenix. Meanwhile, the battle for 5th, BMW are also winning against Ferrari on that one as well. So meanwhile in the World Endurance Championship, Ferrari are beating BMW. BMW are now beating Ferrari here in Retro Racing in the F1 series. And off for DXR. DXR, not too sure what happened there. The leaderboard got in the way there. But now Lewis back ahead of the Ferrari. And now Max causing chaos under defence. Meanwhile, heading through the last chicane. I'm going to take the tyre thing off because it's getting in the way a little bit. As fastest lap for Devons, the leader. And there's round there. What on earth's happening? Max has spun and caused Lewis to stop. And now Max goes from 5th to 7th in the last corner. And now here on lap 18, side by side between DXR and Lewis. Lewis stays ahead of the Italian manufacturer. But now on the way to Eau Rouge, who's going to come out ahead between these two? Can DXR do the impossible and go for the move through Eau Rouge and Raidillon? They both go flying over the Eau Rouge curb. As Lewis has the penalty to think about as well later on in the race. They're heading down with DRS for the Ferrari. Who's going to come out ahead? The Vodafone McLaren or the Shell Ferrari? I think it's going to be the McLaren. It is. The Ferrari's too far back. They're heading through. The battle's not over yet. As on the exit there, the understeer causes absolute dread for the McLaren. DXR ahead of Lewis. And Lewis now behind the Ferrari. Bayous gets a penalty after that huge shunt that reminded me of the 2010 collision between the McLaren of Jenson Button and the Red Bull of Sebastian Vettel way back when. Lewis gets back ahead of DXR on through P1, it looks like. Heading through, DXR though gets back past Lewis at the Fania chicane. Great trading of positions. They're trading positions like Pokemon cards. It's now wide for DXR. That could also trade the position back to Miss Lewis. Two men battling who normally battle in the Retro Le Mans series, now battling here in the F1 series as well. Lewis on the outside of Blanchimont again. That corner seems to be the happy hunting ground for Miss Lewis. Meanwhile, GC Pits in the Jordan. Cameron trying to get back up into second. He started second and he's looking to be in second by the time they get down to turn 5. We'll cut to the battle in a minute. Are these two going to swap positions? They've gone up a position already with the pit-stricken Jordan, but on the inside for DXR, is he going to take 2 places in the space of 2 seconds? Cameron gets ahead of Phoenix. One Ferrari loses the place. The other Ferrari looking to gain back a place. DXR though, don't think he'll make the move from there unless he has super good straight line speed, but he didn't need straight line speed before. He just needed to nail the Leclerc chicane and he just got underneath the McLaren and got the move done, and he's looking nearly to do the same thing again, although the McLaren defends the outside line so that he can't go too wide this time. So he kept the momentum. DXR trying to frighten Lewis into a mistake, but Lewis in the McLaren not going to make the same mistake. As on the inside there, a bit of grass cutting, but on the inside of P1 they nearly touch. Careful lads, heading into P1 corner. Who's going to come out ahead between these two? The McLaren goes wide, and DXR goes through and makes it Ferrari 3-4 for 2 seconds. Or maybe for 3. Yes, he does do it for 3. DXR ahead of Miss Lewis. Then comes Exat Max, who's just behind them. And heading out then, the Italian manufacturer ahead in P4. Meanwhile, the other Italian car of Ferrari is currently behind the French car of the Renault and the German car of the BMW. Miss Lewis and DXR though switch positions again. Blanchimont, name a better combination. Miss Lewis and Blanchimont. I can't name anything better. Lewis getting out of shape. Max is now licking his lips. The Green Army F2 champion, the 2-time Formula Asphalt champion, trying to figure out this battle here in retro racing. DRS for Phoenix, reining in the Renault car to the inside and to second place. Cameron back down to second place for a mere second and says, no thanks, I want to stay ahead of this Ferrari car, thanks. Meanwhile, the other Ferrari car in a bit of a pickle. He's got Exat Max reining him in. The BMW to the inside. 3 cars heading into the next corner at frightening speeds. And round the outside for the Ferrari. Not going to make the move stick, or does he? Because he gets a great run out. Look again. He pinches Max and he gets the move done. DXR makes a great move. Now goes round on the outside high side of the Malmedy hairpin. No, it's not. It's the corner after Malmedy, should I say. As now heading into the P1 corner. Flying round. Into the... Whoa, my God. Sorry, it's been a long day. Heading into the finish game. We're just under halfway done in this race. And Lewis goes wide. And around the outside goes DXR. That is a move that he has done with pride. Now, the Renault. The Echo Renault trying to keep the Italian Ferrari car behind him. Is he able to? To the inside goes Fenix. Back up into second place. Or does he? Because there's a run on the exit of the corner. Cameron looking to get the move done. No, he doesn't get the move done. Meanwhile, 3 cars heading into the bus stop chicane together. And DXR, Max and Lewis battling. Whoa, Lewis being cheeky underweaving. And now Lewis ahead of Max. Now DXR goes ahead of Max as well. That didn't help Max out at all. So, very frantic racing between these 3. Cameron and Fenix swapping places again, though. Fenix gets a penalty for corner cuts in. They go side by side through Malmedy. And on the exit, Fenix went wide. But he's gone to the inside, but not going to make the move done there. Meanwhile, DXR trying to get the move done on Exact Max. Not making it stick. Meanwhile, the Red Bull of Bayous. Yusuf goes ahead of Giovanni into the Lacombe chicane. GC gets past. Meanwhile, the battle up front not changing. Meanwhile, the battle more up front also not changing as well for the time being. As battling there, Max I think got out of shape and he's lost a bit of time there too. Lewis, and he's also gonna be eaten up there by DXR a little bit time wise. Heading into the next corner, Duck Noob finally pits and gets off those soft tyres. He must have had a puncture, or if he didn't, I would be surprised because that tyre's done loads of the race and that is a soft tyre that shouldn't do that long. But we are on the halfway mark of the Belgian Grand Prix here in Retro Racing, and it's been another frantic Grand Prix here at another frantic racetrack with the same frantic grid of frantic cars in the frantic F124 game, and there's a frantic move being made by DXR on the inside of the frantic BMW and Max, who's now being caught by the frantic Yusuf, who's already won a race this season in Imola, but he's now trying to get past the podium sitter from Austria. And down the inside goes the Red Bull. He gets the move done on the BMW. Fenix gets the move done on the Renault for 10 seconds. Or does he? Because the Cameron goes wide. The man who started P2 now loses P2 to Fenix again. Meanwhile, into Rouge and Radion. Max catching up to Bayous. Yusuf trying to hold off Max. But is it going to be enough? Is the slipstream that powerful for the BMW? Is it going to be a late move? I think they're all being a bit cautious into that corner there. They were all thinking about moves, but they all thought better of it. But this train that Lewis has behind him is really frantic. Now the BMW being eaten alive by GC now. This train of cars from 4th to 8th. Absolute mental. 5 cars here. All going for it. As meanwhile on the exit of the corner here, Fenix, that's DXR should I say, going for Lewis again. These two battling like animals, heading into the Fania chicane. And nothing made of that at the moment, but heading into the next corner, all 5 of them heading round Stavolo. And are they going to make the move stick? No, but DXR's left himself open now to Bayous. Bayous not going to look for a move here at Blanchimont. God Chaos gets past by Sin and Venom, who's further down in the field. On the outside, on the inside of Blanchimont, Bayous gets the move done. There's a bit of debris flinging up there. There's contact between Max and DXR. That was almost a huge jump. GC now watching all of this, and DXR letting all of them go, heading into the chicane. Bayous gets passed by Lewis. GC passes DXR again. And now on the inside, Lewis late on the brakes. Is he going to be too late? He is. And he's into the side. Max into the side of the McLaren. Sends him into the sandbox. And now there's GC getting back past DXR. A huge hit into the side of the McLaren there. That is going to be huge damage. But heading into the Lacombe chicane, heading into turn 5, GC goes up into P5. Or does he? Because Max holds it on the outside and goes wide. And I'm surprised he's able to keep that, to be honest. And he lets him through. A legal overtake there for Max. And he's now under pressure from DXR now, who locks up but doesn't make the move stick. Meanwhile, further ahead, the other Ferrari trying to make something of the Renault. DXR goes wide. I thought that was in the wall there. That was close. But meanwhile, one Ferrari struggling behind Max. The other Ferrari trying to keep Cameron behind. The Renault driver heading through Blanchimont. They're 7 seconds away from Devons because they're battling so much. But here on to lap 24. Phoenix and Cameron going round the bus stop chicane. They head on to their 24th lap. Relatively close to each other. We'll come back to them at the Kemmel Straight because that will be where they're changing positions. But these three, should I say, very close together before, but they've kind of spread out now, so we can keep focus on the battle for second. Is now heading up the hill over Radion and down the Kemmels Straight into the 5th corner on the track. Will Phoenix be able to hold second place? He's got the most second places of anyone here in retro racing in any series. And he's heading into the Lacombe chicane and he's keeping Cameron, who started second, he's keeping him behind. Meanwhile, Max in the pits after his shunt with Miss Lewis, who's this car on screen, who pirouetted at this corner moments ago after a huge hit into the side. But Sin and Venom now goes up into 9th on debut. And he's into the gravel though. That's not a recommended line. Meanwhile, these two very close to each other on the way to Pouhon. Steady on, lads. Social distancing. So we head into the Fagnes chicane. These two going at it. The Renault, the Ferrari, side by side nearly, heading into Stavelot. Phoenix ahead of Cameron. Cameron trying to figure out a way past the Ferrari. We go on board with the Renault, catching ever so much on the Ferrari. He's under the slipstream of him, heading through Blanchimont. Is he able to be close enough to make a move into the Blanchimont corner? Rain is dropping again. There's rain dropping on the track. But I wouldn't recommend pitting now because, well, you'd just be burning out because the track isn't wet yet. The track is still dry, so you need to wait for the rain to properly pick up. But the rain at this halfway stage has picked up again, and like in ALR in Season 1, in F1 23, the rain now going to turn this race on the halfway mark into a mess as they head through Eau Rouge and Radion. Phoenix and Cameron going for it. Phoenix defending. Cameron able to make the move with DRS for what could be the last time in this race. But Phoenix goes for the move again. He dives to the inside. Cameron gives him the room, and Phoenix takes it. Beautiful stuff by Phoenix under Racecraft. Meanwhile, Lewis pits. So does DXR. That could be for Inters. And it is. DXR in the pits for Inters, and Lewis in the pits for Inters. So is Sinan and Venom. So that's going to be important for later on. Max gets ahead of Sinan and Venom. And he also gets ahead of Lewis, or does he? Because that'll be very tight between them two, I reckon. No, it won't. Max is going to be way ahead. Meanwhile, this battle rages on. Cameron and Phoenix still going at it as the rain falls. Similar conditions to 2008 Belgium with Kimi Räikkönen and Lewis Hamilton. And there was nearly contact for the Ferrari and the Renault. Renault and Ferrari, two rivals. I think one of the most memorable battles of Renault and Ferrari was Gilles Villeneuve and René Arnoux back in 1978. Back in 1978 when they were battling with Gilles Villeneuve and René Arnoux in Dijon, and they both go round. They drift round the last corner. Phoenix and Cameron. I don't know if there was contact there. I think there was contact. And now they're trying to keep the tyres warm and also keep each other out of each other's slipstream. So they got to keep each other honest here. Devons leads. We're going to wait to see if he pits, because that might trigger everyone else to pit as well. But we'll keep an eye on the tyres again. So I reckon, yeah, look, to the bottom lot in the pits. Max only just pit onto the softs as well. So this rain could really affect his race if it rained hard enough. But the intermediate people need it to rain hard now. They can't just wait around for the track to get wet. They need it to be wet right this very second, but it doesn't look like it's going to get wet very, very quickly. But also GC pits onto Inters. God Chaos in the Brawn goes up to 5th. And while he was going up in the air in Monaco, rolling over on lap 6 of the race before he got restarted, he's now up into 5th, but he is on the dry tyres. The top 5 and the man in 8th all on dry tyres. The 6th and 7th place men, as well as the bottom 3 in the running order, are currently on the intermediates. Who are going to benefit? Doc Noob has kind of been the guinea pig at the moment, because he's been on the inters for 4 laps already before the rain started dropping down. Meanwhile, there's battling going on with Max and DXR. The soft tyre runner goes past the intermediate tyre runner. That's important. Let's see how they handle the corners though. Will Max be struggling through the corners? He isn't at the moment. Max is pulling away. But we'll know when the rain's getting bad, because we'll see Max and DXR swap places. But if it gets bad enough, Cameron and Devons and Fenix goes in. Fenix tried to trigger an overcut on Cameron with this rainy weather. But will it work? We'll find out. Bayou's the next one to maybe pit. Also Max and DXR also have to watch out. But Fenix on the inters, is he going to be behind Bayou's? But if Bayou stays out, it'll be tight. But he doesn't. Bayou's pits as well. So the man who was second pits. And now Bayou's pits. God Chaos the next one to come up to the line. That means GC would go ahead of him. And wide there for Max. Max might need to pit here, and that is going to ruin his race. Unless there's a safety car, because that will put him right down with Lewis again. Further back from Lewis. That might even put him with Sinan and Venom. But GC ahead of God Chaos, who pits as well. Max goes into the pits as well. The rain coming down here in Retro Racing. Will Cameron be able to stay ahead of Fenix? Because he's going to have to pit this lap, as well as Devons. I'll come back in a minute. I just need to go to the lavatory. I'm back, and I'm back at the big moment here. Into the pits. Cameron has to serve a penalty. Fenix is going to jump him. That overcut will work, because Cameron's just had to serve a penalty. And that's going to put him behind Cameron. And now he's got Bayou's potentially catching up to him. Who's that? Yeah, that's going to be Noob Duck. The Duck Noob. There's another orange car between Bayou's and Cameron. But yeah, no, Cameron's going to get ahead then of Bayou's, but he's on fresher rubber. So that could help later on if Fenix has overheated those tyres too early and caused a bit of wear on them. But Miss Lewis kicking up debris, heading through Blanchimont. The car bottoming out through there. Out of the pits as well comes... who's that? That's God Chaos. No, it's not. God Chaos is still on the mediums. So, and God Chaos is staying out. What is God Chaos up to here? Is the rain going to go again? Because if it does, God Chaos is going for the ultimate trap position here. As Max there struggling on the exit. Everyone's spacing out here. As meanwhile behind DXR is Duck Noob, who's looking to unlap himself. Duck Noob in 11th, but he's been lapped as there's a car off. Is that Max? I think it is. No, it's not. It's Sinan and Venom, who's gone wide. It looks like, or made some sort of error to trigger an in-game yellow flag. As we head through quali for the actual F1 Grand Prix starting soon in just under an hour. I reckon Piastri's going to get pole. We head through. There's a safety car. I didn't even see this. DXR's got a drive-through penalty. Why is there a safety car? It's for Dark Noob. Dark Noob has hit the wall. No, he hasn't. What has happened? Why is there a safety car? Is it Max? Synonym's going slow. Why is there a safety car? There is definitely a safety car, but I'm not too sure why. Why is there a safety car? Why is there a safety car? I'm not too sure why there's a safety car, but there is a safety car. We head through them. So the safety car's out. Not too sure why. Because I missed why. As God Chaos does pit, but he gets reset in the pits. So that's helped out God Chaos. That's really helped out Max, who got screwed over by the rainfall. It's helped Cameron out because now he can be right on the back of Phoenix again. It's also helped Phoenix out because now the lead is back in his grasp and he can maybe make a lunge of some sort if he wanted to. So, there's a lot to be played for on this safety car. I'm gonna go silent in a minute, just let the safety car happen. If there's any questions or any or anything you'd like me to chat about under the safety car, then please let me know. Obviously, I'll happily have a little chat about something if you just wanted to. We have so we go on to lap 30 here now with Retro Racing in Spa. That means we have 14 laps to go in this race. So PRL news, Daniel is split from Aston Martin to go to Mercedes from now on. Safety car doesn't look like it's coming in yet, but it probably will do. Not too sure though. We'll get the message on the Access Stablo, I reckon, so probably a couple of minutes time. Anyone in chat saying anything? Can the safety car come out because someone got lapped? I don't know. Who do I think's gonna win? I think Devon, if I'm honest, depending on how this restart goes though. I reckon Devon should plow through. It's quite ironic because Devon asked me the question, but he's led throughout the entire race from last. Yeah, it's a no-brainer to go with Devon's for the win. I'm going to share the stream around a little bit. I've just shared it to the Retro Racing admins, I don't know why. I was meant to share it to another thing. A little group chat of my Performing Art group. Because I don't know if they'll watch or not, but worth a check. Also, the Valkyrie got podium for the first time after its race in what's it called? In the Petit Le Mans in IMSA. Safety car didn't come in, thank God, because I didn't even realise. Standings wise, oh no, here we go. I'm P9. So I went from P12 to P9 even though I DNF'd under some weird circumstances. And I'm only 1 point behind the man who started on pole. Yay. Right then, the safety car coming in this lap. Here we go then, for what could be the final stint of this race. Wide line there by Devons. Exceeded track limits there, and he's now kind of put Fetty a bit vulnerable, but we enter the last stage of the race. DXR pits on the restarts. On the inside of Cameron. Cameron's made the move on Phoenix. I was looking at the other Renault battling Miss Lewis, but Cameron makes the move on Phoenix and gets back up to where he started in P2. Meanwhile, Lewis trying to hold off Bayou's heading through a Rouge. Great stuff. It's now off wide for Lewis. Meanwhile, heading down the straight here, Phoenix trying to get the position back. There's a Renault wide. That will be God Chaos. Oh no, it won't. It'll be somebody else. As does car off, car spinning. Lewis is spinning on the Cabell straight. Huge shunt. As Cameron gets a penalty for corner cone, but stays in second. Or does he? Is he letting Phoenix back past? Yes, he is. So that was a legal overtake. Phoenix drifts through the corner after Malmedy, turn 8. But Chaos heading down the straight, which saw the Lewis spinning. And now heading into Buon. Cameron trying to figure a way back past Phoenix that means he stays on the track. And now GC looking to capitalise on this as well. Sin and Venom trying to keep Max behind, but not doing a good enough job for the time being. And they both go off! Max and Venom off wide. The debutant gets taken off by the man who finished on the podium in his debut in the BMW. So the BMW collides with the Lotus. The German manufacturer collides with the British founded manufacturer. It's now Chinese manufacturer, as Max letting Venom back past. Meanwhile, Cameron does not want to be letting GC pass, but GC might give him no choice. But they head into the bus stop chicane. All chaos looks to be coming to a standstill at the bus stop chicane, ironically enough. Heading into turn 1 again. The La Source corner. Will there be any saucy moves? Cameron goes for a saucy switchback and gets it done. He shoves Fenix into the gravel. That was a really aggressive move, and now Venom, I think that was that God Chaos, I think, having contact. Meanwhile, heading through, I think they were side by side there. I'm not too sure though. Having a look through, I thought I saw side by side at the source earlier, but I must have been wrong. DXR passing Lewis in the pits. Fenix passing GC back. So Fenix ahead of GC after being put in the gravel, losing the place to GC after Cameron's little exchange to him. Great stuff between these three. But Devon's definitely keeping up his end of the bargain, but with 11 laps to go, anything can happen here in retro racing, and of course in here in F1 it usually does. Murray Walker would back me up on that one. As we head into the next corner, Fenix goes wide. He's gone onto the inside of the grass there. GC not knowing what's going on here. Giovanni though gets ahead of the Ferrari. The white Ferrari though cuts underneath him and tries on the outside of the second part of the Vanya chicane. But he's not going to make that move stick. So now heading through, he's now got Max behind him. Fenix and Max battling. These two battled in the no, they didn't battle in the Retro Le Mans Series. No, they didn't. Silverstone. Heading through, Max goes wide through Blanchimont. Now Fenix trying to keep it on the outside of Blanchimont. Is he going to be a move made? No, it's not. He backs out. But he's looking to maybe make a move into the bus stop chicane to the inside. Red Bull vs the BMW vs Ferrari. Same as in the WEC, but the Ferrari goes ahead of the BMW. Great move by Fenix. He got carted to the inside and he took the ticket anyway. Now he's defending to the inside, trying to keep the number 15 BMW behind himself in the number 12 Ferrari, but now he's cartering him to the inside of a Rouge. Can't be careful, lads. Heading up to Radion. I think they made contact. Fenix goes over the Radion corner, and now Bayou's behind. I thought that was Max. Why did I think that was Max? Anyway, as God Chaos comes out of the pits and DXR's just behind him. But yeah, I thought Max was Bayou's. It wasn't. So actually it was Yusuf who was battling with the Ferrari. As meanwhile Max is battling here with Synonym Venom. But Yusuf back in the fray after his unfortunate crash with Fenix at the bus stop chicane ages ago. But now with 10 laps to go, he's back in it, in the top 5, fighting for a top 4 finish. Battling between the Ferrari of DXR and God Chaos and the Brawn. The Brawn not making it stick. And now heading into the no-name corner. And into Pouon. Is there a move made? No, there isn't. Meanwhile, Bayou's looking to make a move on Fenix. Fenix trying to break the toe. The track has dried up again. So they could be thinking about dries very soon. Devon's thinking about dries. He's actioning getting dries. But Cameron stays out. GC stays out. Fenix pits. Bayou stays out. Synonym Venom, what's he going to do? We'll find out. But now GC and Cameron up in front. Devon's pits. Goes behind Bayou's, who also stays out. So Yusuf stays out. Devon's in the pits. Fenix in the pits. Synonym Venom up into 4th on debut, ahead of Exact Max in the BMW, who isn't Yusuf in the Red Bull, who is this guy here. But they head out the pits side by side. Devon's goes behind the man who was in first a lap ago, versus the man who's in his first race. We look from the rear of the Lotus, and he's side by side with the former race leader, and there's contact. The Lotus gets hit by the man who's just put onto soft tyres. That will help the BMW out, but Max doesn't make the move on Venom. Venom, though, staying behind Devons, but staying ahead of Max. Still playing the Hunter and the Hunted. DRS enabled this lap. But Fenix and DXR still near each other in terms of positions, but they were 3rd and 4th earlier. Now they're 7th and 8th, so Ferrari have had a bit of a change of form, although they could be in a different position on net or on aggregate after everyone's made their pit stop onto dries, if they make that pit stop, which they probably should, because otherwise they'll lose a lot of time. As they head through, Cameron here, heading up into Blanchimont Corner. Meanwhile, Yusuf and Giovanni looking to go at it again. 2 men on intermediate tyres, looking to make the most of them. Yusuf to the outside. No, not going to make the move done. Now he kicks up debris on the exit of the curb, and now goes to the outside of the corner where he got crashed into a couple of laps ago. And now they both head into the pits with Cameron, the race leader, and Yusuf got reset in the pits. So now Devon's heading through the bus stop chicane, not making any mistakes. As they head in the pits here, Devon's now into the lead once again. Max goes up into P2 because he hasn't pit onto the intermediate tyres. Synonym Venom has, though, as Duck Noob has a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Fenix behind GC, the Jordan. So he's the net P4 right now because Max doesn't pit yet. That's GC now in the net podium as he's on the softs for the end now. So 8 laps to go. Lots of people going onto the soft tyres, which are the kind of the option tyre now for this very situation. Heading through the Ferrari Fenix, the white and yellow car, the white and yellow red car, should I say, coming through into the no-name corner. The gold, the shiny Jordan, ahead of Fenix, who runs wide, keeps it in a straight line, barely. He's struggling for grip on his outlap. So heading through here, I don't know if that's dirty air kicking him or if that's just cold tyres. But Fenix also on the mediums, look. GC on the softs on the red tyres. Fenix on the medium yellow tyres. That might help him later on in the race. He's thinking for the end of the race to maybe pick off places. But GC going... was that? Oh no, that was Max going wide. Understeering. And now Max and GC now getting very close to each other. Fenix getting close as well. Fenix goes for the move. He dives. 3 cars into one corner, won't go. And what on earth's the camera angle for this? GC and Fenix. Were they side by side? What just happened there? I couldn't even see. GC ahead of Bayous. Then, but they're both behind Fenix. But the camera angles were shocking for that. Max into the pit. Now Synonym Venom's going to get ahead of him. And now it'll be a battle between Max and DXR to see who comes out of the pits. Obviously, Max serving a penalty. Now onto the softs. So it'll be a battle between DXR as GC gets passed by Yusuf. Now Fenix is going to be the next one up for Yusuf. That's straight line speed on another level. Nearly contact between the pair of these two. But the Red Bull and the Ferrari, who have battled in other points of this season, now battling again. As Max said he got a penalty before pitting. That's hard luck for him. Just battling further back in the pack between God Chaos and DXR. What a run out of Rallion for God Chaos, who now has DRS. There's 3 cars coming through here, very close together. GC gets ahead of Bayous, and Yusuf for the second time gets cut into the outside wall. That is something that Yusuf will not want to be put through for a 3rd time. So now he's trying to catch up to GC. Meanwhile, Synonym Venom on debut up in 6th. Absolute chaos here. Now, can Yusuf get ahead of Giovanni, or will Giovanni get ahead of Fenix, or will Fenix keep ahead of the pair of them? But they head through. God Chaos ahead of DXR, but catching up to Max in the BMW, who's on cold tyres at the moment. Yusuf, though, behind GC, but who's also behind Fenix as well. GC playing the Hunter and the Hunted, and he's currently getting hunted by Yusuf more so. But he's getting pulled away on, or is he? Because the slipstream heading through a Rouge and Radion, very close together. There's contact nearly over the curve for Bayous, who now heads into the Lacombe chicane. Yusuf takes fourth. He won't take third. There's chaos. What's happening here? God Chaos has gone round, and DXR's got involved in that. Now Lewis and Max are both through on them, and DXR and Chaos were up in 7th and 8th. Now they're 9th and 10th, and now they have the unpleasant sight of Dux looking to unlap himself on them. As Yusuf on the inside of the grass there nearly collects the Jordan, who goes to the inside of the Red Bull. The Red Bull, though, lets him go and switches underneath him through Puon. What racecraft there by Yusuf to make the move stick. Heading into the Fania chicane. Yusuf there on a rampage. He's powering that car with pure aggression to get these moves done without being carted into a wall. He tried playing Nice Guy. Nice Guy's gone for Yusuf. Now DXR and God Chaos, they swap places like Camel Straight while that battle was happening. But they're not swapping places now. Bayous gets ahead of Fenix on the run into Blanchimont. Now Fenix under pressure from GC. 3 wide through Blanchimont. Careful, lads. Heading out of Blanchimont. Contact between those two again. Heading into the bus stop chicane. Be careful. Into the bus stop chicane. Fenix behind by Yusuf. Yusuf now ahead of the pair of these guys. What racecraft by Yusuf. With 5 laps to go, they're really going aggressive here in these final stages of this race. As now, meanwhile, DXR and God Chaos heading up into the Blanchimont corner. The Blanchimont bus stop chicane. The Blanchimont, then the bus stop chicane. Meanwhile, these guys are going at it, side by side. Bayous versus Fenix. Fenix gets ahead of Yusuf. GC as well, trying to get ahead of the man who doesn't have DRS on this battle, but does have the absolute confidence through the corners to really rein in Fenix on those soft tyres. He's going for it. There's Fenix on the mediums. Yusuf trying to make use of those soft tyres, but Fenix doing everything he can to try and kill those soft tyres before they Yusuf pulls a gap. Look at the racecraft here. They both go into Puon, turning late, and they both. Oh, Fenix gets Yusuf gets a fishtail, and GC had a fishtail, and DXR's out of the session. DXR crashes at Radion, and there's a safety car. This makes the win all to play for now. As Cameron actually caught up to Devons there. But DXR in the Ferrari crashes a Radion. Drive-through penalty for Sinan and Venom for speeding under safety car. That's a harsh one. And now, this is going to be huge. We're going to have a 2-lap shootout for the end of this race. Do not move anywhere. The wait will be worth it. Sinan and Venom gets another penalty for speeding under safety car. He's going to get disqualified soon. Careful, laddie. But DXR, the other Ferrari, leaves Fenix, the only Ferrari in this race. Can Ferrari take that one-off livery to a beautiful position? But Cameron there catching up to the leader there towards the end of that safety car. Towards the end of that stint before the safety car came out. But I wouldn't be surprised if they all go into the pits for new softs. That would be the right thing to do right now. As Sinan and Venom reads my mind, I reckon Max will as well. He has that little bit of damage on the front wing that he could sort out. That would lose him track position over these two, but no, it does lose him track position, and that's too valuable. Meanwhile, Sinan and Venom comes out the pits. There's Lewis and Venom swapping places as well as God Chaos. Where's Venom? There he is. He comes out just in between these two. Interestingly enough. So we have 4 laps to go here in Spa. Who will come out on top? Such a shame for DXR though. He was having such a good race, battling with Lewis most of the race, and Max as well. He ends up in the wall. We'll also tune into STB as they have their 30th season in the wings, waiting to go. So, who will come out on top in this race? It's all 40 of these laps come down to the last 3 here in Retro. Devin saying that he should win because of penalties, he's right. Also GC as well, without the pens, as well as God Chaos and Duck the Noob. But Noob's quite far back. I reckon God Chaos and GC are going to benefit because of these penalties. I would see what other people's penalties are, but we'll find out at the end actually, because that'll be a good surprise. Devon's though ahead of Cameron into the pits, forcing Venom again for whatever reason. As there's a bit of a stack up there under safety car. I just saw that. Where's my controller? There's a stack up here, and look, they've all kind of gone out space. Kind of a bit spacious there. They all kind of stacked up at turn 1 there. I'm not too sure what that was about. They head into a Rouge then. There's a qualifying for the actual F1 in around 25 minutes. And in those 25 minutes, to cure your wait, we can have the end of the Retro Racing Belgian Grand Prix. It will be one to watch, trust me. I know qualifying is just hot laps, but if you want some actual racing that isn't a sprint, keep your eye on what's about to happen here. So I'm sure the sprint is worth missing. The qualifying is worth missing if this drags out too long, but it won't because it's 3 laps. So they head down into Pouhon. This could be the lap where the safety car comes in. I reckon it will be. And I can't wait for them to get ready to race again. As Devon's... Oh, wow. So Devon's saying that this will be his first finish in this league. As in every other race, he's DNF'd. And Max rightfully saying it will be a well-deserved one. But they head into the last corner then. Who will come out? Had GC and Bayou swapping places. Bit early for that, lads. What's GC doing with Yusuf? Here we go then. The safety car's coming in. We'll have 2 laps to sort out this race. Just over... We have 14.008 kilometers to decide who wins this race. Devons will have the advantage over Cameron. Then comes these 2 side by side. They all bunch up. When they cross the line, 14.0008 kilometers will decide who wins this race. All the way to the checkered flag. So we go from the yellow flag to the green flag, then to the checkered flag. Here we go. Devons and Cameron, and there's contact with Yusuf already. They're really punchy on this restart. We're green for the last time. 10-second penalty for GC straight off the bat. The man who didn't have any penalties before now does have one, and now Lewis on the inside. Big move by Lewis. The McLaren gets carted out wide and nearly hits the wall. Now they're 3 wide heading into a Rouge. The BMW, the Red Bull and the Jordan all going through Eau Rouge. Who's going to win out in it? Mike's getting stuck in there. GC there, having to keep an eye on himself. There's a battle for the lead brewing, but Devons keeps ahead of Cameron. That's 3 wide behind 1. Absolutely huge shot there for the Lotus. The BMW struggling there. Cameron, Devons is off. Devons is out of the race. That's a huge shot at the Malmedy corner. Devons has led the entire race, and that's what the Lord. That's a huge shot There's a massive tactical shunt. 4 cars out on the final few laps. Absolute chaos. Cameron and Fenix going for it. So Devon's out of the race after a huge shunt. Cameron battling Fenix. Fenix gets quartered out wide. Carted out wide, should I say, not quartered. As now Cameron goes wide off his own accord. Max there in third. Yusuf also went out in that as well. Yusuf bouncing back after a collision earlier in the race. He's now out. Also GT's out as well in that wreck. And Synonym Venom, the debutant. Huge shunt at Malmedy. Not too sure what happened there. We'll have to get some other clips of that on the onboard. I'll upload them to the YouTube. So keep an eye on the YouTube for that. But oh my lord, Malmedy causing chaos. But here we go then. Oh, I counted wrong. I thought there was 3. I thought there were 2 laps to go. There's actually 3. Lol. Well, the 14.0008 kilometers now starts for the end of this race, and we have 5 cars who could win it. We have Cameron, currently the leader, who has Fenix trailing behind him. Then we have Exact Max trailing behind those 2. Then we have God Chaos a bit further back. Then the furthest man back is Miss Lewis, and then Duck Noob is obviously furthest back, but he's not on the lead lap, so he probably can't win it. Side by side between the leaders, Cameron gets overtaken by Fenix. These 2 have battled all race, and they will battle till the end. As apparently some guy cut the chicane, and that was massive shunt afterwards. There was a guy who completely cut this corner, but Cameron coming back on Fenix, and the leader gets the lead back, or does he? Because Fenix, the championship leader, nearly shoves Cameron off the track, but Cameron having none of it, saying no thanks, I'm taking that position back. Now they head through Pouhon. Fenix, oh, he nearly goes round there. Now Max is going to get involved. The Green Army F2 champion in the black BMW, trying to catch up to the white Ferrari and the blue and yellow Renault. Here we go then. Into the Stavelot corner. This is going to be tense. What's going to happen? Apparently Devon's reporting that some guy cut the chicane and purposely crashed into people. Not too sure who it was. We head now round Longchamp to the outside. Fenix doesn't make the move stick. He runs into the back of his opponent. Cameron there trying to keep the Ferrari behind. He goes to the inside. The number 12 car gets ahead of the number 13 Renault. The number 15 BMW of Exact Max hits the back of the Renault, getting involved. Now there's 1 more lap to go, and it's going to be elbows out off the sleeves here. Max to the inside, dives in, causes contact, and Max there trying to get the move done. Might have cost Cameron a shot at the win. As now Cameron now half a second back. Fenix could finally win a race in this championship leading season of his. Now heading down the Camel Straight. Who's going to win out heading into turn 5? This could determine the race win. Heading down there. He's closing. He's not going to get the move done. The Renault behind the Ferrari, but we know the Renault's strong through this section. Lewis gets a penalty for corner cutting. But we know the Renault is strong under the corner sections, as we've seen from the previous battles from the mid stages of the race. Max goes very wide. That could determine if he wins out in this battle or not. And that could also determine if God Chaos can catch up or not. Heading through Pouhon then. Half a second separating the leaders. Fenix ahead of the man in second at the moment. This could be the race win finally for Fenix. 6 races in, should I say. And Cameron and Fenix battling it out. Fenix could finally win. The man who's currently leading the championship here in retro racing could finally take that infamous win. It all comes down to the last chicane, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Cameron to win it. Fenix into the last chicane, depending on penalties, we'll find out about that later, but into the last chicane. Out of the last chicane, Fenix finally wins here in Spa ahead of Cameron. Then comes Exact Max Clark, then comes Lewis, then comes God Chaos, who didn't have a penalty, so he goes up second. Then comes Duck the Noob. What an absolute unexpected end to this race on those last 3 laps. Devon's having the win stripped away from him yet again. Oh my lord. I feel honoured to have commentated on that. Thank you very much, everyone. Who was that who just got driver there? I'll check on stream. Exact Max, the BMW, after getting another podium, crashed. What? Who crashed? So, people questioning who got their podium, or what happened at Malmedy essentially. As I think God Chaos gets a podium for all the penalties. It's very good. Or is he Cameron? Actually, no, Cameron gets a podium, should I say? But Max did get the podium without the penalties being applied. So yeah, what race this has been. I'll catch you all in the next one.
Joe Argent.
Right, I'll see you all in another race, but I'll catch you all later on. Thank you very ever so much, and goodbye.